This video is sponsored by Deep Cut Studios. For a wide range of fantastic gaming resources such as battle mats, dice trays and pre-painted bases, check out the description below.
My friend, you look like you had seen something quite spectacular. Let me guess, you took a trip to the Star Theater, am I right? Thought so. They always have fantastic shows. Shows that wouldn't be possible without the extraordinary efforts of the theater's owner, Colette Du Bois, a showwoman extraordinaire who leads her showgirls every night in spectacular fashion. Too bad so many of the tricks she employs to make the show so grand have to be hidden from view. No, my friend, I don't mean sleight of hand, although she takes great pains to make it seem like that's all it is. You see, Colette is a master of illusion magic, and if that fact was well known, it would make her a target of the guild, who don't much like magicians outside of their control. It's because of this fear of discovery that she has such close ties to the Arcanists, running smuggling jobs for them behind the scenes when she isn't busy with her shows. And she is damn good at it. Her and her girls knowing the hidden routes through Malifaux better than anyone. Now smuggling is dangerous, and the loss of life due to the job is a real possibility, which is why Colette takes great pains to protect her girls. Each one is assigned a mannequin, an automata that not only helps the girls prepare for their shows, but also protects them during their smuggling runs through the city. Of course, mannequins aren't the only mechanical tricks Colette has up her sleeves. And I don't mean the beautiful and expensive-looking mechanical doves flying around at the end of the show. I mean the choreography, those automata you saw doing a hell of a dancing routine. Unlike the mannequins, these constructs weren't made by any member of the Arcanist Guild. Whoever it was, though, it's obvious they were a master, because those automata seem to know every dance under the sun and perform them beautifully. Although Colette is a hell of a leader, she knows when she needs to delegate. Thankfully, she has a team under her willing to help her out when needed. Stunningly beautiful with a commanding presence and a sharp mind for business, it's no wonder that Cassandra Felton was once one of Colette's greatest rivals. Through circumstances I am not privy to, Cassandra eventually became one of her closest confidants, seeing herself as Colette's guardian. And, like all of the ladies in the Star Theater, there is far more to her than meets the eye, as her sword skills left many a man who didn't see her as a threat because of her looks with a long, wide smile across their necks. If Cassandra is Colette's protective right hand, Angelica Duran is Colette's extremely organized left, the mistress of ceremonies, she leads every show with a booming and energizing voice that keeps the audience engaged. When Carlos Vasquez first came to the Star Theater looking for a job, he had a high hill to climb, not only because Colette made it a point to only hire ladies for her shows, but also because of Carlos's outspoken wish to, and I quote, earn the adulation of countless women. That all changed when a wardrobe malfunction caused Carlos to accidentally touch Cassandra's bare skin, turning him into a blushing, nervous wreck, showing that he clearly wasn't as experienced as he liked to make others believe. After Colette's fit of laughter ended, she decided to hire him on, and his confident smile, dashing good looks, and mastery of fire magic has made him a popular attraction to all the ladies that come to the show. Over the years, Colette's showgirls have become invaluable assets to the Arcanists, so much so that they have become quite high in demand, which also increased the danger they were put in. Danger that had led to the loss of many lives. Not that Ramos, the head of the Arcanists at the time, seemed to care, forcing Colette to put her girls into more and more hazardous situations. When Ramos was captured by the guild a while back, on the outside Colette put on a show of being distraught by the news. But on the inside, she couldn't be happier. Not only has she taken up a larger chunk of the profits from the smuggling, but Star Theater's business has been booming, as word of her shows has reached past the breach. and spread throughout the earth. If things keep going like this, I have no doubt that Colette will soon be known as having the greatest show not just on Malifaux, but on Earth as well.
Hi guys, and welcome back to our Malifaux Masters Breakdown, where we showcase the factions and personalities vying for soulstones and dominance within the Broken City. Today's episode features the leading lady of the Star Theatre, Colette Du Bois, and her performer troupe of keywords. Colette and the performers excel at playing the objective game to score strategies and schemes rather than slaughtering their enemies in battle. They have a huge variety of abilities to move their opponents out of position and can interact even when engaged thanks to the incredibly useful Don't Mind Me ability. The crew offset their relative fragility by forcing their opponents to take negatives on their attack flips, with abilities such as Serene Countenance and Manipulative, as well as putting out lots of the distracted condition through a variety of abilities to further hamper their opponents' attacks. Colette Du Bois is the proprietor of the famous Star Theatre as well as its main attraction. Like any good magician, she confuses and confounds your opponent as she moves their models out of position with the Presto Changer ability, which can swap their position with a friendly performer as well as dropping scheme markers at range. Rather than causing damage, her melee attack gives the target stunned and distracted, denying them the use of their triggers and enforcing another negative to attacks against her to stack with her Serene Countenance. If an enemy does try to attack her, Colette's Fade Away defensive trigger on defense and willpower can bury her and reduce the damage taken. This then allows her to use her Showstopper ability to unbury in base contact with a friendly performer or scheme marker and distract any enemies within 2 inches. When they activate, those same enemies gain stunned if they're within 4 inches of her and distracted. Colette rounds off this magical repertoire with her Sword Trick bonus action, which causes 3 damage and buries an enemy within 2 inches, or with a twist ending trigger that can bury Colette herself, keeping her safe from any reprisals. Colette's 3 totems are the mechanical doves. These incredibly quick constructs act as a mobile soulstone reserve for Colette, as she can sacrifice one of them within 3 inches instead of spending a soulstone from her cache, as well as drawing a card from their expendable demise. Their mobility also assists Colette if she uses them to unbury with her Showstopper ability. Cassandra Felton was once Colette's main rival, but is now the first of her 2 henchmen. A skilled swordswoman, she brings some melee punch to the crew with her balanced sword and its built-in reposition trigger. But also her celebrity ability means that when she interacts, she can give an enemy within 6 inches distracted without any chance to resist, and combined with her finesse bonus action, can make her surprisingly difficult to take down in melee. She rounds this off with the incredibly versatile Upstage ability, which allows her to copy key tactical actions from friendly models nearby. Colette's second henchman is the flame-wielding Carlos Vasquez, who also shares the Wildfire keyword with Keris. Utilising his mastery of fire for both melee and range attacks, Carlos excels at giving out the burning condition, pulsing out to all models within 2 inches when he activates, as well as having plenty on his triggers. His Dance of Flame and bonus action, as well as a always useful butterfly jump, mean he is an absolute nightmare to try and pin down, as he can easily dance around your opponents to score your schemes and strategies. Next up we have Angelica Durand, the Master of Ceremonies of the Star Theatre, and as such is the first onto the battlefield thanks to her Herald ability, which can move her before the game has even started. Her Give Them an Encore tactical action adds even more mobility to the rest of the crew, being able to move any friendly performer within 8 inches of her up to 5 inches. Angelica's Shockwave ability can put out even more distracted, as well as 2 very useful triggers to either drop scheme markers at range or summon mechanical doves to replace any that Colette has used previously. No visit to the Star Theatre is complete without watching a performance of the iconic Choreography duet. This 12 Soulstone Enforcer is both graceful and lethal in equal measures. With a stat 7 melee attack, few models in the game are safe from their twirling blades, and with defense 7 and armor 2 it means they can shrug all but the most dangerous enemies' attacks off. Should they find an opponent they can't overcome, the Agile ability allows them to leave combat and hunt down a key target elsewhere that they need to eliminate. Their Dance Partner and Nimble abilities mean there's no part of the battlefield safe from them, and should they find themselves without a target, they can still support the rest of the crew by healing them with the power of Dance. With the ability to dance apart, the duet can split into 2 Choreography. While the duet is lethal, even a single Choreography is still a dangerous opponent and gives you more flexibility on the table. When the duet has split, the opponent isn't safe as it can be reformed easily with the Dance Together ability. Should the enemy finally manage to break down one of these graceful constructs, then it's still not the end of the story, as on the death of the duet they are replaced by 2 mannequins, and while the choreography is replaced by a single mannequin even when it's killed. The mannequins assist the performers with costume and scenery changes during shows and support them on the battlefield. With their mechanical assistant ability, they will push 5 inches towards any friendly performer, which ends a walk action within 5. They keep their charges safe by protecting them with take the hit and healing them with emergency surgery, making them excellent backfield support pieces. The keyword is rounded out by 2 living minions, the Ice Dancers and the Showgirls. The Ice Dancers are another model which shares a keyword, this time with Rasputina's December Cult. Using their ice skating ability, they can move through any scheme marker and move over and drop it into base to base at the end of its move. Again, a butterfly jump they share with Carlos means they are very hard to pin into combat, and they can further inhibit your opponent's actions with the built-in slow effect on their melee attacks. On the other hand, the Showgirl brings the always useful lure attack action, which means they can pull an enemy model out of position relatively easily. Their seduction ability adds another way of distracting the enemy as well as removing focus, as well as the always useful celebrity action when they interact, which again piles on negative flips to attacks. The performer keyword is exceptional into any pool or schemes of strategies where there is a lot of interactions needed. The enemy struggle to prevent interactions as their don't mind me means they can carry out this key action even when engaged. Colette is often capable of running any single scheme or strategy all on her own, meaning the opponent has to make a conscious choice between going after the leader or all of her minions. On top of this, all the negative flips from distracted as well as their defensive tech mean they can be a real nightmare to hold back as they race across the board to score schemes. Despite this, there are some negative aspects of the performer keyword that you will have to keep in mind, principally being their fragility, especially if an enemy can get past all the negative modifiers on an attack flip and hit you with a severe or a moderate. The crew places a heavy focus on their more expensive models, and losing someone like Colette or the duet early can seriously hamper your plans. Colette herself is particularly vulnerable to any enemies who can ignore her defensive tech, especially if she suffers the stun condition, and it relies on a healthy cache of soul stones as well as the doves to keep her alive. Finally, models that can remove your scheme markers will naturally cause severe issues, as will those that are able to use them for potential attacks such as pulses and shockwaves. Finally, if you'd like to give the performers a run out, this list should bring the main cast of the Star Theatre Extravaganza to your table. You can use the duet and Hirata to give you the ability to take out your opponent's key pieces, while Colette and the Showgirl scheme and disrupt the enemy. The flexibility of Cassandra and Carlos mean that they can switch easily between combat and scheming at any point to leave your opponent bemused and confused by your misdirection. So that brings us to the end of this Malifaux Master breakdown. We hope it's been useful in giving you a snapshot of the crew and its mechanics. A massive thank you to the vocal talents of the wonderful Arvandus during the video's intro. You can find more of his excellent lore content in the links in the description below. For more talk about Malifaux and its masters, why not check out our podcast The Harlefaux Show, where we break down each keyword and why you should play it. Alternatively, we have a wealth of beginner-friendly battle reports here on the channel that guide players through every flip and decision. Whichever you choose, we look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care, folks. Hi guys, and thank you so much for watching our videos. It means the world to us. If you want to see some more, they should be over here. If you want to support this channel, keep these lights on. You can find links to our Patreon and merchandise in the description below. Take care.